people watching this morning. Wait,
Maybe.
should I look it up on my phone so it looks like we have one person watching?
I like that. And then you should like it also.
If I do, if for whatever reason from my phone, it likes it as Captain Wells though, and like I'm not gonna be that guy to like his own video.
There's nothing wrong with that.
It's 100% things wrong with that.
Yeah, sometimes I like things and I'm not aware that it's coming up as Captain Wells. Like when you'll post something on the Captain Wells site and I will like it, and then I'm
Yeah,
like, yeah, that's not what I meant for it to be me.
right.
Totally not me.
All right, I decided I'm gonna start with my realistic watercolor today because I figured this one would probably be uh, a better print. So Aaron
Yeah.
gave me a good idea yesterday with those abstract pieces that I'm gonna get good scans of them, but I'm not gonna do anything with the scans yet, and I'm gonna put them out and see whether there's interest or anything.
Well, I'm like, you should always get good scans of all of your artwork. That's
Sometimes that's
something I
not an
wish I would
option.
have. Well, it depends on the artwork, yes. But most of your 2D stuff, you're able to get good scans of. Oil
Oh, I'm
paintings are
talking
a little
about
bit
like
more.
when I finish it. Like, there's been some pieces that I've prepped and taken to a show that I was like, all right, cool. And then they sell before the end of the show. I was like, well, guess I'm not getting a scan of that one.
Right, but that's all on you. Like you could have scanned it
No,
before you
sure.
took it. Or, oh, are
Absolutely.
you talking about finishing something at a show? I've done that.
Yeah,
I do
that's
that
what I'm
way
saying.
too often. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then it's
It'll be
gone
at a
before you have a
show.
chance. Like, you don't even get to take
Yeah.
it home. Nobody ever gets to see it. It's been done for 10 minutes and it sells.
Yep. Man, that happens a lot to me. I'll just put something out. I am looking forward to the Benson Fridays though.
Sure.
I'm a little anxious just because you won't be there.
Oh, you'll be
Um,
fine.
well, yeah.
You're
Either way,
just
I'm a
going to
little
have to be more
anxious.
personable.
Yeah, about that. I should talk to my students. I'm pretty sure they think I'm angry all the time. I'm totally not. It's just my face. And oh, sorry, total mess up on my part this week. So there's one of the Christian schools down here is doing an art contest, and I put some of my kids' artwork in,
Mm-hmm.
but I had given it feedback. Feedback is our grades. I had given it feedback, but the students never got to see the feedback. Well, I wrote the feedback on the back of their artwork,
Sure.
which I mounted and sent to the contest. So these poor students, I'm like, obviously you did well enough, right? So
This
so
is
don't
terrible.
be worried.
No,
Yeah.
it's awful.
Oh man. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna try to make it to the art contest or the art. It's pretty much an art show. They give out ribbons and stuff. I'm not even sure if when I get there, if I'd even be able to do the Scholastic because I've only ever done Scholastic through a school. And I mean, mind you, ours is a school, but
Yeah, I was going to say,
it's a
I think there's a private school option.
okay because I
Oh,
would. I what?
go ahead. Finish your thought. I got a
No.
funny thing about Scholastic.
Oh no. Go ahead. You're fine.
So our school does Scholastic every year, and it's usually done through our AP teacher. Um,
Okay.
and just she's the one that's like gung ho about it. All the rest of us like, oh yes, crap, I forgot about it. Like I know about it every year. I still don't want to do it. Anyway,
It's a lot of
uh,
paperwork.
it's so much is, and then like a lot of the kids that I have that would be good enough to do it, she also has. So I'd be like, hey, you should submit this to Scholastic, and then they do it through her. Anyway, uh, so like I get some of my pieces sent in. I just don't have to do the work, which is great. Well, so this year, so we sent in for Scholastic, and what was interesting and nice about it. So the results came in,
Yeah.
and first off, the results for the Missouri, or where Missouri was, came in a week later than they originally said they were supposed to, which was frustrating for our teacher because she was just waiting.
Mm-hmm.
So the results come in, and she goes to the website and she goes to choose it, or to find the results for our school, and there's a drop down menu, and you have to choose your city. And okay, so she chooses Kansas City, and she goes
Sure.
through the list of Kansas City schools, and there's a bunch of Kansas City schools, and ours wasn't listed.
What?
And she's like, "Oh my god, did we just send in like 12 artworks, 13 artworks, and get nothing?" And so she's freaking out. One of the other students is looking as well, doing the same thing, freaking out, like cannot. Come to find out,
Wrong state?
because no,
Oh
wrong
God.
city. My school is technically in a city called North Kansas City. Like
Oh,
it's a completely different city,
fantastic.
and they didn't scroll down far enough on the list because Kansas City's towards the top, North Kansas City's towards the middle.
Yeah.
And so then we found it, and then we realized that we did actually really well and everything. It was hilarious.
That's cool. Do you do figure drawing with your students?
Man, I can't even get them to do still life drawing, let alone figure drawing.
Oh, well, I'm not sure I can get my students to either, but we're doing it. I'm really excited. Uh, they get new seating charts whenever they start a new unit.
Yeah.
So, our room. I know you're working on art, but
Sure. I can see.
here. Okay, so our room, is long and skinny,
Right.
and we have like tables set like that.
Okay.
I only have. Oh, I should know exactly how many students I have, and I couldn't tell you. 12? Something? I don't know. I got students. It's not a big class. But so I have them sitting, along the
Sure.
outside because I'm
Facing
going to
in.
put a table. Yeah, I'm going to put a table here, and that's where the figure is going to be. So our class yesterday was nothing but talking about figure drawing and getting a sense for it and talking about any issues that they think they're going to have, things like that. And this whole time, they're just staring at each other, and it's so awkward. I'm like, oh, maybe I should have waited another day because this just feels
Nah.
not okay.
Nah, that's fine.
All right. I actually have to start painting here, huh? Every time I clean my brush, I just hear Mr. Anderson's voice in my head because can you see the color?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, yep.
I so I think I'm at a point where I don't know that you could ever get me to do oil paint again.
Oh, dude.
Like I'm finally there. I think I'm finally there. And I know it's really disappointing for you, like when you know that you really want to do it. But I'm looking at it, I'm thinking about it, like you got on here when we were, before we went live, and we're complaining that something wasn't dry. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have the patience for it. That
I
is
do not have the
absolutely
patience
true.
for oil painting, and that's why I really think that acrylic and watercolor work well for what I want to do. And I'm okay with that now. Like I spent a lot of time being upset that I didn't want to do oil paint, because like
Oh,
you go into, you went into college or whatever, and you were led to believe by Anderson, by everybody, that to be a real artist you needed to paint in oils. Like
it
you
did
just
feel that way.
right, whether or
Yeah.
not they said it or not, it wasn't the deal. Like you were led to believe, or felt that way. Like I remember when I told Anderson that I wanted to try acrylics for a semester of painting, and he was an acrylic painting artist, and he
I
still looked
know.
at me like, "What the hell do you do? Why do you want to do that?" And I was like, "Because I want to try it." And like I don't. What do what do you want from me?
Yeah, because I had never even touched oil paints until I went to college. Like we did not, which really irritates me because my instructor in high school, we Now that I'm a teacher, I'm like, this total cop out, woman. We did a Bob Ross painting.
Sure.
We just watched his video and did it in class. She didn't actually help us at all. It was fantastic. But we did it in acrylics.
Oh, and so it probably turned out really bad.
It did, because you can't get that blending with, and so we didn't use, I mean, right now, like I could name mediums that I could add to it to help it, the drying
Sure.
process last.
You didn't know
So you
that
could
before, though.
probably do it. But she didn't give us any of those. So it was just, but yeah, I hadn't touched oils. And so it was such a different world, but I
Right.
fell in love with it because I'm like, "Oh, I can blend right on my canvas. This is my thing. This is my jam."
Well, and see, I did oils in high school,
Mhm.
and I generally liked it. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great. I wasn't very good at it, as you could tell from my first couple years in college. Uh, I can't use oils right now, like at school. It's I don't know if it's a Missouri law, if it's a Kansas City law, if it's just something our district does. I've been told I cannot use oils.
Well, the chemical is pretty intense,
Right.
and you have to have proper disposal. Even though you could let it dry out, at which point in time it can go in the trash, but
I don't have room for just
to let
general things
pallets
to
dry
happen.
out,
Right.
oh yeah.
I couldn't do that. Plus, we don't have good ventilation in the rooms for that.
Ooh, which reminds me, I need to turn on my air thingy because I have no ventilation in here, and I won't notice the fumes, but they are totally here.
I remember growing up, Dad was a woodworker, and so Dad, and he wouldn't bring anything upstairs, but he would do it all in the garage in the basement. And I remember getting to the point where just the smell, the residual smell of clear spray paint lacquer
Uh
just became a normal thing.
huh.
Like
Yeah.
it didn't even phase me. It didn't even it didn't even dawn on me that, oh, that's probably not a safe thing to be breathing in all the time. It was just a smell. That was like the candle of our house, like kind of thing. It was
Right.
it was crazy.
The things you get used to. Yeah, I like my studio. I like the fact that I have a door. This is the first time in my house that I've had a studio that has a door. It's my own personal space. Nobody else puts their stuff in here. So I like that. But the fact that there is absolutely no ventilation in here is a little bit worrisome.
Well, if you start getting lightheaded, open the door and walk out.
Oh, no, I turned on my air purifier. I did a lot of research on what to buy for painting specific. So I put that on, and this seems to be fine. Who knows?
Well, I was just talking in general, like
Oh, yes. Tony finally gave me back my other paintings that I've done. Did I show them? Show you the little things he made for him?
no.
Yeah, so these are just the prototypes to see if the guy likes them. But like there's a lip so it protects the canvas. So when
Yeah,
it slides in and out, it's not going to get scuffed or ruined.
yeah,
And these will be made out of nice hardwood.
sure.
And I'm
You
not
know what?
sure if
Actually,
he's putting the
go ahead.
title on it or anything, but
What would be kind of fun? So, like, I'm assuming you're talking about making those for all of the pieces for him.
yeah.
Uh, Click them on, right? And I'm assuming they're probably going to be glued on or something like that to attach them.
Yep.
You know that little lip that you got?
Yeah.
Pour in a little bit of resin, clear resin.
Oh, that would totally protect them.
And then it would be perfectly flat. It would be 100% protected because you'd have about what, an eighth to a quarter inch thick
Resin, yeah.
resin in there. It would give them a little bit more weight.
A lot more durability. That's a good idea. I'll swing it by him because um, I might not do that, but he might do that because
No, yeah,
once these
once
are
they're
out of my
his,
hand,
right.
yeah. If he wants to uh, spend some extra money,
Right. Well, and the nice thing about, I mean, I don't know how many paintings he's having total made, but it seems like a lot. Um,
yeah,
but I feel like, especially because you said this is for a game,
yeah,
like a board game,
yep.
um, anything you can do to increase the durability of the pieces over time would be helpful.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, these need to be done by the end of this month so that they can dry and he can have them.
And how many more do you have to complete?
I've got it written down here. Let's see. I have 11 done,
Okay.
2 that are drying. So that's 13. And then I'm prepping 2 more here. So I'll definitely get the 15 done, and then if I'm able to, I will do a bonus one.
Have you ever tried getting those to dry faster with a dehydrator?
Uh, we did that in
Or a
college.
dehumidifier?
Yeah, we did that in college. That's just another thing in my room, though.
I'm just saying. At least it's going to start getting nice. Like you could set them outside.
Yeah, for bugs to get on it,
I'm
and
not saying that you shove a fan in front of it in the middle of the night in the middle of nowhere, Nebraska.
sure.
You could even find a sunny windowsill and put them in there. You know, if you guys are going to be gone for the day, got to keep it away from the
Let
dog, I guess.
bake. Oh, she just
Hey,
lick these.
I sent I sent an oil painting once through a t-shirt drying conveyor belt, like a screen printing t-shirt conveyor belt. Uh,
Yeah.
and apparently it was the easiest way to find out that the oil paint I was using was stupid cheap because like halfway through it started smelling like fried chicken.
Ooh. What?
Yeah. It was boiling the oil.
That's slightly disturbing.
Well, yes, but it also shows that I had the temperature too high, the conveyor belt too slow. Yeah.
Yeah. I really need to be wearing gloves when I'm doing this, but I've already got oil paint all over my hands.
Yet another thing I don't have to worry about with pen and ink and watercolor.
True. I just cannot
I
stand acrylic. Can't stand. Well, I mean, I can do. I'm getting better at watercolor, and I do still do acrylic because, well, you know, you shouldn't lose all your skills.
No, I mean especially if you're a teacher. But I think I'm going to lose my oil painting skill because I'm not teaching it. It's not something I have to keep my skills up on.
Yeah, and you really don't enjoy it, so
Right. So it's win-win.
yeah.
All right. Time for some base layers. I have no idea what compelled me to want to draw this skull and feather.
Well, sometimes you just don't know.
I mean, a lot of times I just don't know, but that's a completely different story.
But you do skulls quite frequently.
But not in watercolor.
No, you normally do it in oh, what's that called?
Micrography.
Micrography. Yeah.
Micrography. Micrography.
whatever it is.
Yeah, well, I needed a change of pace. This is, kind of like you. Like, as much as I like doing geek art, like I'm trying to phase out of it. Like,
Yeah.
it's definitely one of those things. I don't know that I'll fully give up. I don't know that I can at this point, just because I've been having a lot of fun doing it. But
Well,
I
that's the
want to
thing.
I want to
If
phase
you're
out
having
what I'm
fun.
doing. I want to phase out how much of it I'm doing. I mean, the other
Yeah,
the
I
other.
think.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No,
I say
go ahead.
the other thing that I've got though is, when I go to places like Art Garden and shows like this, like we're getting known for geek art. So I'd like to
Oh,
leave
sure.
because I need that thing to still pull you in. It pulls in a certain crowd. It pulls in certain people. So
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna leave it to faith, not faith in people, but just like wherever God is leading me to create is where I want to create, and I really do want to create more art that just glorifies Him and His Word and His
sure,
world and His creations. I think a lot about Tamala
yeah.
in that, and I really like she's such a beautiful person, and her art has that.
Well, and more importantly for me, um, she has strong convictions, right? And
Yeah.
that's always a good thing for me. Like I'm 100% of like I need you to believe in something, and you should believe in it wholeheartedly, even if I don't agree with you, right, on 100%.
Oh,
You need to,
absolutely.
right? So I've never looked at it, anyway, but that, but she's got such strong convictions and willing to own up to the mistakes, willing to look at it and say, I'm not perfect, but
Yeah,
here's what I can do. And that in itself, like,
it's
because I met her
beautiful.
when she was a para at my school,
Hmm.
and this is before she became a full-time artist, and like she was a great example for our students.
Oh
She was
yeah.
working with special needs students at the time, but she was in the classrooms, and she was a great example for our students, all the time, which was amazing to have her around. And that's why we got along. Like, she was in my art class a lot. We got along, and realized that she had this passion for doing some art, and so we talked about it. And she would ask me questions, about supplies and things like that. And I was 100% honest. Like, I wasn't trying to, I didn't see anybody there as a threat to what I was doing. It was more of a friendship, and it really worked out, and it was really, really nice and fun. So yeah, I'm always
Well,
glad to see that she's doing really well.
when you to piggyback off of what you just said though, which takes the conversation in a different direction, just you didn't see her as a threat or anything. I find it hard when that's a mentality though, like
Right.
because man, it's art you're creating.
Right. Well,
Fantastic. You're better than me. Awesome. I
yeah.
love that. What can I
And when I
learn
say
from
that I
you?
didn't see her as a threat, it wasn't like saying like, "Wow, I'm so much better." It was no, it was like I looked at it as a fellow artist and not a competing artist. Like, I don't. I mean, that's the same way I look at it at the art garden or the shows that we go to. I'm not competing with anybody. I'm not competing with you. Like,
Right.
I'm competing with me and my own talent. I look at other people, like when I go to art garden, I see JQ, and man, I love his work.
Mhm.
I'm not competing with him. I want him to do well too.
Oh yeah.
And you get these kids in classes that they get so down on themselves because somebody else is better than them. There's always going to be
Oh,
somebody better than them.
yeah.
I mean,
Covering
as
up
much
their
as I love
artwork. Shame. I
as
don't
much
like
as I
it.
love doing watercolor, JQ's better than me. As much as I love looking at JQ stuff, Shorty was better than everybody.
Oh, dude, that
Like, there's
guy. I
always
miss him.
somebody better in the room. Like, that doesn't mean that you're not good.
Right. I fall into that sometimes though too, uh, feeling that I'm not actually worthy to be in the room with these amazing people, and like I'm not jealous of their artwork, and I'm not, like you said, they're not competition, but I am like, how am I even in this room? How am I here?
And I know we've kind of had these conversations before, but look back to the room when we were in college, and I specifically remember a night drawing class, and I believe you were there, but Drew was there, Cole was there, Ken was there. Like I can do the best I am, and I'm at best I'm going to be the fifth best person in the room. Like,
Dude,
and I knew that.
anytime you mention Cole, I'm like, oh, I loved watching him create, and I wanted to punch him in the face so many times. Like I'm just like, it just came so easy to him. But the good thing is it came easy, but he was still such a hard worker. It's
Sure,
not like those people who are like, it comes easy, I'm not going to work at it, so I'm not going to grow and get better. No, it came easy to him. He had a natural talent, like beautiful talent, but he worked at it.
sure. Well, and I'll tell you, so I had lots of conversations with him over the years in school.
Mhm.
It didn't come as easy as we think.
Really?
It okay, so it looked like it did because, like you said, he worked hard. He
Yeah, he
wanted,
did work hard.
right, and that's again not a slight to anybody else at school, but the reason why he made it look easy is because he worked so hard at it. And it's one of those things that I like sports, right?
Yeah.
If I was to go to the park or to the gym or whatever and shoot basketball every day, eventually I'd get better at it. I'd get good at
Oh
it.
yeah.
I'd get to the point where I could shoot it, all the time. That's what painting is. That's what art is. That's what all of this is. You can't just sit down, even sit down once a week and expect to get a ton better. But if you're doing it every day, you're gonna get better.
Yeah.
So like I said, I like sports. Kobe Bryant, right? One of the best basketball players that ever lived.
Yes,
Played for the
sir.
Lakers. He was a notoriously hard worker, almost to a fault type of thing.
Okay.
And he made this comment that if you work out every day, you train every day, you'll get better. If you train twice a day, you'll get better faster. And so he went through a timeline of his training and everything like that, and it was like, oh, that's crazy. He's getting up and training at like 8 o'clock in the morning for a couple of hours, going to lunch, resting, relaxing, and then he's training again at like 5 or 6 at night for a couple of hours. One, when you got millions of dollars, you can do that. And, your timeline is so much different than the regular person.
Yeah, I'm like, man.
And he said that he didn't realize or whatever that he was getting, the way to get better was he needed to train from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m., eat breakfast, rest and relax, train from like 11 to 1, rest and relax, and then train again from like 5 to 7. And he said that as soon as he started putting in that much extra work, like that, like the results became so much faster.
Oh yeah.
And it's the same concept here. Like I'm not going to ever tell anybody that they need to go, paint 2 hours, 6 hours total every day. And that's the only way you're going to get better. But man, if it would work.
Yeah. If you had all that extra time.
Man, if that's all I had to do, I'd get better at
Also,
it.
going back to Cole real quick, dude. No, like some of that just came natural because pottery. Like I was there when he learned how to throw on a wheel.
You mean
What?
one-handed? One-handed?
I
Were you
yeah,
there that
one
semester?
handed, and it was still so awesome. Like I'm so happy for him though, and I love watching what he still creates. Like
Right.
those.
I'm glad that he is.
Oh yeah. Well, he's an art teacher, right? He's still an art
Yep.
teacher.
out in middle of Nebraska somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's sad to say, like, because he was good at football too. Like, it's sad to say that, man, he lucked out by having his football career not work out.
Oh, I know. But things go the way they're supposed to. I really do think that.
Sure. Uh,
Oh, and so now you're on break, right? Do your kids have the same break you do?
yeah, we're in the same school district.
That oh yes, I forgot you moved for that reason, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you're not even yelling at me across the room.
Sorry, dog needed to let out.
Oh, sure. I was honestly expecting to hear my children all morning long in this room over here. Uh, so when the painters came this week, we had to take down our TVs,
Okay.
and we decided that we really we're okay with that. So
Nice.
right now, the only TV that is up is the one that's in our unfinished space, which is right outside my studio.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah, I'm assuming they're on their computers or something. Saturdays is their one day where they get it's Saturday morning cartoons. Like that's how Tony and I grew up, and we're just like, yeah, Saturday morning you can have cartoons. I mean, they have it so much better. They don't have to wait
Right, they could just get
and
it when they
trudge
want.
through the terrible cartoons, but you know.
Well, not only terrible cartoons, but the terrible commercials.
Oh man, yeah. So I was really expecting to just hear them. Oh, I dropped it.
Oh no!
Don't
Oh
even-
no! You're just I like that. All
Like, what
right.
do I do? How do I pick it back up? I am so filled with paint right now. Oh, my hands. That's fine.
Ugh. Well, I'm getting started with this, and I'm throwing in a base coat before I go in with my watercolor markers, and
Mhm. Oh, you're out of
I'm
focus, dude.
already. Of course. There we go.
There we go.
I'm
Yeah.
can't decide if I like this or not yet.
Oh, that's how it always is, right? I love also halfway through, you're like, I ruined it. And then, no, it turns out great.
That's how I am every year with the Mrs. Nevada paintings.
Oh, yeah, those
100%.
come out great.
Yeah, I hate them until about halfway through, and it has nothing to do with the image, right? It's more of like my confidence in my ability kind of thing.
Oh, sure.
I'll be right back.
Okay. I'll keep my audience of nothing occupied. I got nothing, guys. It's going to be shocking one day. We're going to have somebody engage with us and we're not going to know what to do.
That would be fun. That would be
Yeah, having somebody in the morning talk to us.
right? Well, I just looked it up on the Facebook page, and we're still currently at 0 people reached. So
Hey,
I don't think you have to worry about that anytime soon.
you know, I'm cool with that.
Oh no, I'm fine with it. Like I said, we're doing this more for us than anything else.
Oh, yeah.
I really hate this camera that it keeps going out of focus.
Stop moving so much.
I think it's just a cheap camera.
Is it not your? Is it the one that I have?
No, this is the IP Evo that I had before
Okay.
that one. Uh, so I've got it set up. So we had to do 3 virtual snow days this week. Um, I have my art set up here, and then I have my school set up 90 degrees to the side.
Okay.
And so I have the other camera set up for that um, for now.
So do they have to tune in when you guys do virtual? Do they have to
Um,
actually come to your class, or do you have to just give
Supposed
them
to.
content?
Well, without trying to sound like I'm trashing my district or my school or anything like that, attendance is not taken.
Okay.
Um, no
So
new
there's no
content.
accountability.
Right. No new content. So I can talk about previous lessons or anything like that.
I feel like you should just give them a snow day then.
Then we'd have to make it up.
Okay. We've like, do they not build in snow days anymore, or what?
No.
Well, that I don't know.
Well,
That
not that I'm aware of.
seems
We were able to do 3 traditional snow days,
okay.
and anything after that would be virtual days.
Okay.
And we did our 3 snow days. We had 3 virtual days this week, and I'm waiting now just to hear when the official last day of school is going to be. But they're going to wait until we're out of the woods of possible snow days.
Got you.
If they tack on the 3 days that we missed, then we'll go to June 2nd.
Ugh.
Yeah. Which is fine, I guess. I mean, not a whole lot I can do about it. So
Yeah. When do you get out right now?
27th.
27th. I think my kids are out on the 22nd. I'm not out, of course, because we got meetings and stuff, but
Oh yeah. All right, I'm
I'm
switching gears while I
anxious.
let that dry.
Oh, you're going to do,
I'm gonna do me some abstract today.
yeah. I think I need to clean my palette. Oh. I think one of the hardest things for me with these, and the reason why it's taken even longer, is just because greens and yellows just dry slower. And I could add a medium to speed up the drying time too. I just
Right.
don't want to. I like working with them the way they are.
What was it? Japan dryer? That was always the thing. Or liquid. No,
Liquid, yeah.
liquid thinned it out. Did liquid make it dry faster?
Well, yeah, because it's thinner, so you can do multiple layers. It allows you to do washes like really well.
But
But then I realized I
it
hate
did that
washes.
without like taking away the intensity of the color.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
liquid is great. I have liquid, but the
Expensive.
problem is um well, it is expensive, but I can't get my lid off anymore. So it's just stuck.
Well,
I do like this completely changing here. it takes me so much longer to paint when I'm talking to you than when I'm just sitting in my studio by myself.
Yeah.
Which just reinforces my desire to have half of my art time in class be silent, because then maybe we would get more stuff done.
Yeah.
Plus, I have been getting some feedback from my students on their reflections that it's just really hard to concentrate and work when there's so much talking. And I agree.
100%. And I wish there was more that I could do about it.
Oh,
And
yeah, yeah.
don't get me wrong. I know that there is. I can. But, I mean, you know just as well as I do that education is about picking your battles.
Oh, yeah.
And that's just not one that I'm willing to fight. Like, I'm not. I know that I'm not going to be more entertaining than their phone.
Yeah, I don't have the phone problem. I just have conversation problem. And that I can control a little bit. But
Yeah.
all right, that one now has to dry. Got paint all over my hands.
I gotta remember sometimes that, like, I can't just move out of the way of the camera.
Oh, you're right.
Because I'm a turner. Like, I need to be able to turn my pieces when I work, and I do that a lot too when I'm doing like the demo videos and anything like that. I'll be working, and then I'll just creep down and creep down and creep down, and and then I'll be like, "So you see this thing right here that I just did?" They're like, "We don't see that." Oh, sorry.
Yep. Do you record your demo videos?
I did last year. I haven't this year because I've been using a lot of the ones from last year.
Oh, yeah, there you go. All right. No, this only works when I'm doing the details on it. I'll just put that away. Yeah, sometimes for the other teacher who has to teach my lessons, I'll record my demos during class. Yesterday, I had my students record me, and then as they're getting started, I'm like, "Oh, you guys, I forgot like 3 really important steps because I just automatically do them because I don't think about them."
Yeah.
So this morning when I got up, I quickly just redid the whole lesson, the whole demonstration. Hence the reason why I have love on my
Well, I was
background
curious.
paper.
Is that block printing or relief printing?
Yeah, we're getting in. They've done so. I teach a elective, a printmaking elective,
Okay.
and I follow along with our history timeline. So we're in the medieval period, and we're talking about seals. Now, seals have been, of course, around longer than the medieval period, but the type of seal that came about, anyways, whatever. So they're creating a seal, more of a stamp, because I want them to get used to the carving tools
Right.
that we have. And then we're going to do, it moves in. So we're doing the eraser stamp.
Yeah.
That'll move into their full on lino cut.
All right.
So I always have them practice their skills before we actually do it on a project. So this is kind of like a mini project just to get them used to it. And it's great because like some of them are so worried about their cuts. And I'm like, have you ever done this before? No. Good. Make it look terrible. It's not a big deal. Learn
Right.
the tools. Like,
Well, and
it's good.
I mean, it depends on what you're grading them on. On the eraser one, you're probably just grading them, or giving them feedback based on, do you understand the concept? Did you do it? Like, okay, cool, you did it there. Now let's do it better on the next one.
Yeah, there's not. The great thing is this is a fun elective, and our feedback isn't even recorded. So it is literally to just learn and grow.
Well, I get it. I understand. Like, there's the kids out there that they if they're not immediately great at it, they're terrible at it, and it's like, that's not how this works.
Yeah.
Like, there are some things that, yeah, you're good. It's gonna make sense to you faster, and you'll get better at it really quick. Some things aren't like that. Like,
Yep.
it may take
Welcome
a
to the
few
struggle
times before you
bus.
realize it, right?
Yeah. Um. Yeah, I think I need to tell my boss. I know I've mentioned it multiple times, but I think I need to formally state that if they're able to make the electives not year long. Not that I have a problem teaching the same kids, but I think about I would like more kids to be able to have the opportunity. And
Right.
if they've decided that they want to take creative writing or whatever electives we offer, then they don't get the chance to take the art class. And that's how it was over at the public school, the high school that I taught too, because band took up so much of the time. It was block scheduling, but band was year long because it's music. And so
Sure.
because they chose to take that, they could not take a bunch of other things. And so then I've got my seniors who finally could fit art in their schedule, and they're like, "Man, I wish I was doing this the entire time." I'm like, "I wish you were too."
Mm-hmm. I know. As much as I get the way that we do it, when I was up in northern Iowa, we would have there were certain classes that were taught every semester. Art 1 was taught every semester.
Right.
And that was, you met every day. Like, it wasn't block scheduling, which is a whole nother conversation. So Art 1
Well,
met every day, but
sure.
drawing and painting was only in the fall semester. Or
Oh,
painting was second semester. Ceramics was only one semester. It was like, and then there are some classes that only were offered every other year. Photography, darkroom photography was only every other year. And I actually really like that, because you gave these kids more chances to get things.
right. Yeah.
Their justification for the full year classes, at least here in Missouri, is that, well, you need one full credit, and you have to take a year's worth of a class to make it a full credit. Great, make a semester a half credit, and they have to take 2 classes.
Oh, yeah. Simple, but probably more book work.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah.
Right.
Also,
I don't know what it's like on that end. Like, I'm not going to claim to know what it's like on the, the administration.
oh
end.
yeah,
Just
that's
from
not my
end,
job. So yeah.
right. From my end, it just looks like it would work that way, but it may not. Who knows?
Also, when I taught at the high school, our block scheduling was every day. So you fit a full semester into a quarter, which, by the way, was terrible because with a class like art, like I appreciated when it was more drawn out because they had
Right.
more time to work on it extra.
Right. Yeah, I mean, in that situation, it feels like you're just rushing through it.
Oh, very much so. Yeah, it's interesting because our school is still deciding how some of this is going to look.
Right.
So as a parent of students who go there, I get to give input. Not that they'll necessarily listen, but
Yeah, but
like I said, I
what's
think
nice
I
for
need to
you is
formally say
you
something.
you still have insider knowledge of the operation, because you see it from the teacher aspect as well.
Oh yeah. I think that's one of the reasons why I like my school so much is just because I know what's going on behind the scenes. I know how much these people care about our students
Right.
and care about, not their grades, but their character. Like they
Sure.
truly do care about building good good adults. And so some of the things that I'm like, oh, I don't necessarily agree with this, I can overlook because I know what the end goal is. I know
Sure.
what we're striving towards. And I don't know how you see that as just a parent. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure maybe you can, and I'm just not that awesome. But
Well, I think it's a lot of the same feeling. So one of the big things that I've always said is that everybody in their life should work a retail job at some point, even if it's for a month, 6 weeks, whatever. You should work a
yeah,
retail job because then you will understand what's happening on the backside of all of this. And you're less likely to be a jerk to the people that are sitting across from you. 99% of the problems that happen in retail aren't the person's fault that is sitting and talking to you.
oh yeah,
And they're just the face that you're talking to at the moment. And I think that's going to be a lot of the same like what you're getting here. Like you get to see it as a teacher and as a parent, and so you
yeah,
are less likely to go hollering at a teacher when you don't agree with them, just because you understand that, all right, you may not agree with them, let me go have a conversation with them, but you were doing what you thought was best for my child.
yes. And knowing that every teacher there, well, I mean, all the teachers I know, I mean, who knows, but all the teachers that I know actually like truly care about my child.
Right.
Like it makes a difference. Like I understand you're not doing this because you don't have time. You're not doing this, whatever the reasons are. You're doing it because you actually think that this is best.
Right.
Or you know what? And I do appreciate this about our school. Like mistakes are okay. We're learning and we're growing, and
Right.
it's not a big deal to say like, hey guys, this was terrible, we tried it for a year, we're not going to do this again. So
Right. Well, and I look at all of the reports and everything of teachers that have a terrible question on a thing, and outraged. First off, did you say anything to that teacher before you went outraged to social media and to public?
oh
Because
yeah,
100% could be a misunderstanding. Now, don't get me wrong. There are bad people out there. There are bad teachers out there. And I'm not trying to defend bad teachers. But sometimes
right,
it was just a lapse in judgment, or hey, this is what I really meant and it came out wrong.
yeah,
I
I
understand.
worded the question poorly, that's
Right.
not the intent, yeah.
And
Or
so
you
I,
know
I,
what, I took it from somebody else. Like
right,
they've been using this for a year, I didn't vet it, I didn't actually look at it.
right. Yeah, no, I still made a mistake, but I'm not out there making, racist comments or anything like that. Just, it bugs me, and I like to give, teachers the benefit of the doubt a lot of times.
Oh yeah. Like, and a
But like
lot
I
of
said,
times, like if I see something like that, then that's that conversation you said, right? Did you have that
right,
conversation beforehand? And
right,
honestly, why does it have to go to social media unless you didn't get any kind of resolution?
right.
Like, we don't have to make a big deal out of a mistake somebody made as they were trying. No, if they were like, no, there's nothing wrong with it, sure, go ahead, take it to social media, like whatever. But
The other part that it really starts to annoy me is, you have all these people that put this stuff out on social media, and then it gets out there, and of course, without knowing context, you'll get a lot of people that just react and just go
oh
nuts.
yeah,
And then, well, I'm a teacher, and then they want to complain to me. People want to complain to me and be like, how can, it must be that new math. Man, math hasn't
oh
changed. The fact that we are allowing kids to show us how they understand math has changed. It's no longer learn it my way or you don't understand it. It's, hey, I see you got the right answer. How'd you get that? oh, that's an interesting
Yeah.
way of getting there. Let's see if it works again.
There are multiple ways to get an answer. Yeah. Considering I was a kid who struggled in math, like I appreciate that they teach us so many different ways now to do math. Now my children is just like, well, this is the way I want to do it. I'm like, learn them all, figure it out,
Right.
and then if that's what you want to do, then that's the one you do. But at least you've got more tools in your toolbox than just the way I was taught.
Well, and the thing that I try to, convey to my kids when I sit and help them with math is, well, here's one way of doing it. Now here's another way of doing it that you can use to check your answer.
Oh yeah, yeah.
If you do it
I
to
like
the two
that.
different ways that is acceptable and you get different answers, something's wrong. So
Yeah.
you need to know 2 or 3 ways to do your answer to do your problem, so that way you can check your work.
Yeah.
Seriously, I can't tell you how much I'm really glad that I realized how much I like these watercolor markers.
Oh yeah, they're great.
They
I
make this
actually
thing go so much
need a new
faster.
set. I need to pick up another one because some of mine are dying.
They make this process so much faster for what I do. I understand that it's not going to be the best option for a lot of watercolor artists, but I don't
It also depends on
traditionally do it.
yeah, it also depends on what you're actually trying to accomplish with them.
Right. Yeah, I
So they're
I
not going to
don't.
work in every instance.
Right. I definitely am not a traditional watercolor artist.
Oh no, either am I.
I mean, I blame you for this because you're the one that got me to watercolor pencils and
And
brush
that
pens.
was just like, I've had these for years. I'm going to try them out.
Right. And then it was like holy crap, what just happened? That's awesome. I realized that we would never make a good like radio or live stream show, by the way.
Because we don't talk. We just.
We go long stretches without saying like actual things. Um, but also, we're so all over the board when it comes to what we talk about.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't know how many people would want to sit back and watch and pay attention to an art and education video live stream.
Oh, right. Yeah, we don't really have any purpose. Our purpose is to just sit here and create, right? It's kind of like the artist jams just online.
Which would be an amazing thing if we could get some of our artist friends to actually want to wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday.
Yeah. And do this for, an hour or two.
Yep.
Do you guys have any plans with your break?
No, unfortunately. Aaron's gonna work a little bit. The boys and I are kind of hang out. We got a few things to do. I'm gonna be going up to the school and working a little bit. So nothing fancy.
You're going to be meeting with me at some point.
Somehow, hopefully.
Yeah. I mean, you've
When,
got
where,
all of the
how.
greats. Yeah, you've got all the greats. So I definitely.
You know, I'm gonna hope that gas prices go down a little bit before I have to make that trip.
Well, up until I couldn't get my bookcase, I was all for coming all the way down. So irritated. And that's fine.
I mean, is it something that I can just go and pick up for you?
Well, they had 8 yesterday. So I don't know how many they have right now. And if it wasn't for the fact that I need, the exact ones that I already have in my space, I mean, if you totally find yourself at an IKEA, a white Billy is what I'm looking for. It's not even fancy.
Oh, that's what I have in my front room.
Yep, we got them all over in our basement, and we're moving the one TV we're keeping in the house, and we need another bookcase to make that space actually look okay.
So you need like a full Billy.
Yeah.
I tell you, those things are hard to come by. I will agree with that.
Well, because once they're there, they're just gone. And so, what was it? Friday afternoon, I was able to have it part of my order, and then by Friday night, inventory had gone down so much that I was no longer able to have it part of my order.
Should have just ordered it.
I wasn't sure if you could pick it up, and you have to pick it up within 3 days. So that was.
You knew I could. You've done it. You've had me do stuff for you before.
I understand that, but there's a difference between, hey, can you do this, and waiting for the yes, than, hey, I need you to go do this. Like, I've already set you up for something, even though, like, I'm going to be out of town all week. Maybe you're going to go up to see your parents. I don't know.
Nah, I would have just turned around and went like last night or this morning.
Hmm.
Worst case scenario, you don't pick it up and you cancel your order. So
Oh, that is true.
just saying, you should have just done it.
Well, now I'm going to.
Now you're going to be upset about it.
Well, no, they say that there are still 7 there now, as of this morning.
But you still can't order them.
No. It won't let me put it part of my click and collect order because apparently anything underneath 10, just in case there's an issue.
Well, and it's too bad that there's not, more IKEAs around.
Oh, yeah. Minnesota's the next option. And they don't have any in their warehouses that actually deliver to my address.
Which is another weird concept of this whole thing. Like, why can't they deliver? I don't know. Whatever.
It's a third world problem. Like, seriously, there's so much going on in the world. My wanting a bookcase to finish off my wall is kind of minor.
Did you mean a first world problem?
Or first world? Oh my god!
I was like, that could have been a terrible reference that you just made.
Yeah, that's absolutely not what I meant. Wow, first world problem. Whew. That's bad. Luckily for me, nobody's ever going to watch this. So.
Oh well, my mother-in-law likes it when we're done.
Oh well, that's good. Does she actually watch them?
Oh, I don't know. But we usually get like 1 or 2 likes
after we're done.
Yeah. Which is fine.
Oh yeah.
I'm scrolling through to see if I can find it again real quick. See if we've reached anybody today. I don't see it. Where'd it go? Nope. Nope. All right. Well, that was a fleeting effort.
That is okay.
I was just trying to find it in my regular news feed,
Chat.
and then
Oh, gotcha.
I realized I could just go to our page.
Makes it easier.
Hey, it looks like okay. It looks like somebody's watching, but I
It's
have
you.
no idea if it's me. So if it's not me, then the person could say hi. But if it is, that's fine.
It just might be on in the background as a pity. Look, guys, I watched you.
No. Yet again, if it wasn't for the fact that I knew that he was probably still sleeping, it'd be Tony.
Oh yeah, that guy's sleeping. It's a Saturday.
Right? I should be sleeping, but this is the only time that I don't feel guilty sitting down here painting.
Yeah. I feel like I should just take a knife to this little canvas and call it a day. I hate it so much.
So just remember, when it comes to your artwork, you are always going to be more harsh on it than anybody else. Hey, it's Jesse. Hi, Jesse.
Oh, it is a pity high.
uh,
Oh,
so no,
great.
so you're going to be far more critical of your artwork than somebody else, but also when you're doing this for somebody else, so your only concern is that they like it, not you.
Well, sure.
Granted, you have to be proud of your own artwork. I'm not trying to say that, but your main goal here is you're painting something that the other person likes.
Oh, gotcha. Yes, I understand what you're saying.
So that was always a thing. Like talking to my parents when they were running their store. I would throw out suggestions and ideas for products or whatever, and mom and dad wouldn't. Well, I don't like that. Well, but you don't have to, because once you sell it and it leaves, you won't see it anymore.
Yeah.
You still have to make those type of decisions, and it's not easy. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to try to say that it's easy, and you still, excuse me, you still need to be proud of what you are making, what you are selling, and what you're doing. But ultimately, like this piece that I have in front of me, when I get done, whether I like it or not, I'm making it for somebody else. I'm making it to appease somebody else, hopefully. Hopefully somebody else likes it.
I mean, I think it's turning out well.
Well, I still have a lot of time to mess it up.
You sound like one of my students.
Man, I sound like me. I tell my students all the time, hey, I just got this started. How's it look? It's like, you still got time to mess it up? And I walk away, and they look at me like,
Nice.
What? What did you just say? I mean, I'm not wrong. It's just a terrible way of looking at things. I also like to use the phrase trying is the first step towards failure.
Well, yeah.
Well, because no, so there's a reason behind that. It's not to get that thought process in their head. It's because that comment sounds so ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it does sound ridiculous. Just because you try doesn't guarantee you're going to fail. Like, I say that to because it's not. I say that kind of stuff because it's not what they're expecting. They're expecting
Right.
a teacher to always be the, oh no, you got this. Go right ahead. Like, so I like to go to the extreme the other way because they're not expecting it. Like, wait a second. Potential means you haven't done it yet. Yes, Jesse.
Yeah.
I like that.
I just tell everybody to make terrible art. It's good.
Well,
Just make it look bad. There's nothing wrong with that.
Especially when you're going through school. Who cares? Like,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just try. I'm not expecting you guys to be amazing at every medium that you ever pick up.
Right.
Like, and especially I'm not expecting you to be amazing at the first time you pick it up.
I also like to tell my students that is this going to actually affect your life in 6 weeks or even 6 hours? Like
Right.
you're really not going to be thinking about this for much longer than what we are to do it. Like,
Well, and it's not about that, right? Like the art classes
right.
that you're taking in high school aren't about, making you a lifelong artist. You walk out of my classroom and you're not an artist, I don't care. That wasn't the goal of you being in my class. Becoming a more well-rounded person or more well-rounded student, getting a better idea of, problem solving, critical thinking. That's what I care about. And
Being able
sadly,
to
most of these
appreciate
kids,
art.
yeah, be able to see it all around you and understand and appreciate what it took to make that thing.
Yeah.
And some of these kids don't or won't fully understand that until later in life, 5-6 years after they're out of our classes. And I've had kids come back to me. I think we ended last week on a conversation about that. Like, they'll come back 5-6 years later and be like, really, you taught me more than I thought you did. Yeah. That was the point. Right? I was never only teaching you art. If anything, you're learning how to work through distractions. You're learning how to work with uncommon materials. And that's that problem solving that you desperately need.
Oh, yeah. Trial and error. Figure
Right? Like,
it out.
one of the things I've always said is I'm not teaching you art. I'm letting you explore art through guided practice.
Oh, yeah, there you go. I really don't know how to make this look like it's supposed to. This is this is becoming a mess.
Orange.
It's not orange.
No. The orange will make the yellow pop.
Oh, sure.
That's what I'm meaning.
Yeah. But I need to get my structure in here. And right now it's just a blob.
I get that. It's what happens when you're working on tiny canvases with oil paint.
It's a glorious thing. Oh, maybe green was not. Oh, I should have done purple. What am I thinking? Man. Occasionally I forget how colors work.
Well, yeah.
I don't even have purple out. I have no purple. Oh, dude.
Yep.
Look at what happened. Here, I'm going to show you.
Hold on. Okay. Oh no.
Yeah. Yep. I'm like, how do I even make that not look like it chipped off?
I've got the paper. I can fix it.
Okay. Because I'm like, that was so irritated when I saw that. So now it's sitting in my studio because I'm like, you people stay away from my art.
Oh, that was the painters that did that.
I have no clue who did it. It could have been one of my children.
I feel like they would have tried to tell you.
Colors are so tricky, right, Jesse? I mean, like, I'm telling you.
I
Oh,
I swear I have a somewhere in my textbook collection. Because yeah, that every good teacher has some sort of like weird textbook collection. Every good art teacher, I guess.
yes.
Um,
Doesn't have to be good. You don't have to be a good art teacher.
but I believe it's a graphic design book, and and I think that the name of the because it's supposed to like challenge your idea of color theory, your thoughts and
Okay.
everything on color theory. And I think the title of the book is Red and Yellow Make Green.
Okay.
It's just like what? I had that in my classroom for a long time, and it really confused students. Like when they would just happen to see it on my shelf. It's like I know I didn't write the book. It's a good book. It just
Colors are
doesn't make
not
sense.
real.
I mean,
Absolutely.
if we want to get into the weird science of everything, sure.
Oh, some of my students do. They're like, but Mrs. Alston, optics, nerves. I'm like, what? Stop. Just stop.
Right. I try to explain to my students all the time when we talk about color, we're talking about visual color, not scientific color. We're not talking about,
Yeah.
we're not we can get into the science of, visual, color spectrum and, rays and everything. That's not what we're doing here.
I'm not sure what we're doing here, but it's not that.
I'm sure what we're not doing here.
I am not your science teacher. Though we do talk about a little bit of the science
Sure,
behind color, and because that's always just fun.
as you should. I mean, it's also really hard for me to say I'm not your science teacher when I walk around in a lab coat all day.
Right? Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, I like my students who absolutely like, well, you told me to do this, so this is what I'm doing. I did have my admin tell me that I had asked a question and I had some snarky students answer it exactly how I asked it, even though that was not my intent of the question. And I'm like, really? And he's like, they gave you the answer you asked for. I'm like, oh, yeah, they did.
Right.
Won't make that mistake again.
I mean, you will, just not on that question.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that question got fixed almost immediately. And I was like,
Yep.
you guys got a pass.
I fall into that trap a lot too. Like, but I also do that to my students. I will answer the question they ask me, not what they
Oh
mean by
yeah.
what they ask me. And man, if that doesn't tick off some students,
Like, you know what I meant.
it's like, okay, you
And
guys
say
do
what
that
you
to me
meant.
all the time. Like, I don't know what you want from me.
All right.
So we're
This
apparently
one's.
definitely going longer today than we normally do.
Oh, I know. It's because we have an audience.
No,
That's not why. But it
it's
totally
actually
is, Jesse. It's all about you.
it's mainly right. We're doing this just for you, Jesse. Um, it's mainly because I don't know that I have a whole lot of other stuff to do today, unless of course I'm ending up running to IKEA.
Dude, if you run there and grab that, if they actually have it, I would say I would love you, but I mean, that's weird. And I,
It
I
is.
do. I won't hug you. How about that? I won't
You're
hug you, Captain.
you're not gonna do that anyway.
True.
And yes, Jesse, we are blaming this on you. I mean, I didn't say it was your fault. I just said I'm blaming you. No, we've been doing this. Um, what? This is like what 6 or 7 times of doing it now.
No, it can't be that.
It's been quite a few. We've only missed one in like a month and since like the beginning of the year.
Okay. We've been consistent. That's
And
weird.
it's fun.
Oh, yeah. Do you create early in the morning, Jesse? You're like, no, I sleep. You have no
I
reason
mean,
to get up.
he's a teacher too. I get it. Yeah. I am really enjoying this process that we're getting into, and you know, the fact that we both still have lives and doing our own thing as we need to, but
Oh, Facebook's not showing you your friends?
mm,
I don't think I look at Facebook enough. I'm terrible.
well, you're just not consumed by social media, so if it's due,
Not
yeah.
yet.
Well, and so I know Heather gets in here in the studio every Saturday for like most of the day.
The morning. This is my day off from being a mom and a wife, so I typically get to be in here until 3, and then I got to go be a responsible adult again.
And I'm just doing this because I needed to take time that I wasn't feeling guilty for sitting and ignoring people. Because I'm definitely like Heather, if you weren't here and I was actually sitting still doing this, I'd have headphones in my ears and not speak a word for 2 hours, whatever this is.
Oh, sure.
And because I get so consumed, yeah, steady as hand. Well, to be fair, we both have been up since. Well, you've been in the studio since 5. But that's about when I got up.
Yeah.
So we had a little bit of chance to let things kind of
Settle.
settle before we get in. But
Could be all the yeah, yeah. I know I can't. I can't even drink full coffee anymore. So I just do my decaf. But
well, and I'm not
normally
a
I don't
coffee
work this
drinker.
small, so I don't have to worry about a steady hand. I could just slop some paint around.
Yeah, once you get done with those, you're gonna have to turn the camera and actually like show us the big paintings you're doing.
Well, the one
While you're
I
working.
need to work on, that's on my canvas. I can't show because it's a commission.
Nah.
I guess I could ask for permission if they have a problem, but it's a gift for somebody, so I don't.
Nah, those things have got to stay. Like, it's not right to show them beforehand.
I do need to create some examples for my students too. I need to get on that. It really does make me sad that I won't be I won't be teaching my little people next year.
You dodged a bullet with that comment right there.
I did. I did.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, especially since like when you first started here, that was your goal, your thought. But I think when you look back onto it after a little while, you'll realize that was um, a huge burden to have to try to think K-12 all the time.
Oh, yeah, yeah. No, it is a good choice. It's just it makes me sad, especially since these are like I've been these guys' art teacher since they
Right.
got there. Like when my daughter found out that I wouldn't be teaching her art, she's like, "What?" Like, yeah, I won't be teaching you art next year.
Yeah,
Is that even
that's
a
a little sad.
thing? Yeah. I mean, I'll get her again when she's in 7th grade until somebody takes over 7th grade for me. And honestly, if I didn't have my kids or the responsibility of homeschooling them twice a week, then I probably could continue and I would
Right.
love that. Like it would just be a full-time job and I would love that. But I actually have to be a responsible parent.
Why? Come on.
I know, right?
No, I get you.
So, yeah, that was the thing. Like if I could, I would absolutely continue. Maybe not with a middle school group. I don't think that's where Axton shines, not me.
Right. Yeah, I'm good at high school. I'm gonna stay at high school. I mean, I don't know that I'm good at it, but I'm enough that I'm not gonna worry about it.
Yeah, I don't get middle schoolers, and I have a hard time.
No,
I don't think I'm the best fit for those little people.
no, it's definitely a different thought process. I mean, it's different for all the different age groups, and yeah, I'm perfectly happy and content at the high school level.
Oh, sure.
Now, whether or not they're happy and content with me is an other conversation to have. But
I am telling you, I am super excited for figure drawing.
are you doing that as a elective, or like your printmaking
No,
elective, or it's a unit?
unit.
That's right. You said unit. Yeah. What
Oh,
what
yeah.
what age group
I
is
was
doing
just
that?
looking at Jesse's. My 9th graders
Nice.
are doing figure drawing.
Live
Yeah,
model, or how are you doing that?
yeah, we'll do live model. I'm going to be the model. It's going to be fantastic.
Ooh.
I would get them up there modeling, except for I can just see their faces now. Like, you want me to do what? They're so self conscious. You have 5th grade. Is 5th graders? Is that middle school for you guys, Jesse? Oh, good until about 6th grade. I'm telling you, I could do 5th and 6th graders. Well, 6th grade is pushing it. I could definitely do fifth
Right.
graders, and then I would like to jump back in about 9. So 6, 7, 8, they're kind of tricksy. I do think I'm going to continue teaching 7th and 8th at least next year, just because of how the schedule flows. Finding somebody to come in for those two classes is silly. So I'll figure it out. But that age group is so challenging. Like, I can be
Right.
silly with the grammar kids or I can be serious with my high
Right.
schoolers. I don't know how to be I
Well,
don't know how to be middle school.
I I saw a really funny meme at one point. Um, yeah, I sixth, seventh, and eighth. No, I'm good. So the meme was talking about middle schoolers. Middle schools are weird. It's because for whatever reason they don't want you to know that they own a coat ever. Um, but
Or
that
pants, I'm telling you.
right, it's you got to wear shorts and a t-shirt. It's 5 degrees outside. Nope, shorts and t-shirt. Um, but the meme that I saw was the middle schoolers are weird. It's like they're too cool to listen to you or take advice from you or anything like that, but they're still just small enough to ask whether or not their mom can bring in cupcakes for their birthday.
Yeah, it's a weird, awkward transition that I don't know how to I don't know how to do. Um, I'm attempting to know it. I'm attempting to grow in it. But yeah,
No, thank you, I'm good.
yeah. I told them what I would be willing to do. I told them what I would like to do. And so we'll see how that actually shapes up next year. Yeah, because I would not mind at all doing my 5th and 6th graders. Like they're, well, 5th grade, I would definitely not mind doing. Oh man, see, I'm gonna miss my little people. Like they dance with me. Like
Oh
I
man, I've
love
seen you
it.
dance before. Come on, come on.
I, it's fantastic. But I'm gonna miss that, and I'm also gonna miss having control of curriculum. But
Yeah, I think that's going to be your biggest like thing to have to deal with is for this whole time that you've been there, you've been in charge of where this goes, and now you have to give a little bit of that power. Now, I think you'll be fine. It's just it's going to be a transition. It's going to be a weird concept, a weird thinking process for you.
yes, Jesse, they do let you read them stories, and they don't look at you terribly for it, which is what I appreciate. Because I will read stories to anybody, but they're just like, really?
Oh yeah, they
Yeah,
love the
really.
stories.
Yeah, those little kids. But yeah, Captain, to get back to what yeah, being able to have that control and being able to, like, I use nothing but art terms in my classroom. So even
Sure.
first graders come in and, oh, a puppet. Yes, I have a puppet. I like my puppet. But even
Side note, real quick. Sorry,
yeah.
I also have a puppet in my room, but it's Alf, and no kid knows who Alf is.
I feel like cats should just
Anyway,
go missing. Um,
I mean, I'm not a cat
oh,
person, so we don't have cats in my room anyway. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry,
right. I don't even know what I was saying, dude.
I don't
Oh,
know either.
but so I use art terms. So when I
Right,
want my kids to have their paper in landscape mode, like I tell them to put your paper in landscape, put your paper in
right,
portrait. Um, I don't use the, we need to make a hot dog, we need to make a hamburger, fold it
oh, I hate
across the vertical line, fold it across the horizontal line. I say the words and I'm showing them. That way they
right.
associate the words with what I want. But that way, by time I get them in high school, like they know what I'm saying. Like they understand the art vocabulary. And no, you do not need art
Hopefully,
vocabulary to do art, but it just, it would be nice if you had a well-rounded art vocab.
uh,
Maybe I should just be doing grammar, then I don't have to grade also.
true. And
Well, I
now
mean, I
you're
do,
you're
but not.
not the same way.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
different.
so yeah, my going back. So I saw Jesse's comment about Alf. Um, my Alf doll puppet thing, whatever, has a T-shirt that says Earth is a nice place to visit, but I wouldn't want to live there. I don't know. I don't know why, but like Alf was like one of my. It's a terrible show. If you've ever watched it, it's a terrible show. But Alf is one of my favorite characters ever.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I can't stand hot dog and hamburger. Like that drives me nuts. I make a big show of being opposed to that, and the kids like it. So my show of hating it.
I used to have the biggest thing against the word purple.
Oh, I think that was college, dude.
Oh, it went into high school, like when I was teaching.
Oh, did it? No,
Oh,
I'm saying like we could not use purple in high school or in college.
probably.
You couldn't
That
say
may be
that.
where it came
Like,
from. I mean, it makes sense, but man, like I would rail against that so often. Like I would I would give a color theory test, and purple was not an option as a color as a name. Like I was a jerk about it. And in hindsight, it was not that big of a deal. But
well, I have a student named Violet. So I actually try to actively use purple in her when she's in my
Sure.
classroom because otherwise she just gets distracted. Like I'm not talking to you. I'm just referencing colors.
See, I am, I don't know. It is not the clear mixing name. Purple and violet are two different colors. Anyway, uh, I'm that jerk that when I found out that I had a student, so you know how like some people just like there's certain words that they just hate. You know,
Right.
for a lot of people, it's the word moist, and if you hate the word moist, and I keep saying the word moist, and you still hate the word moist, uh, sorry, I had to do it. But anyway, so she made the mistake of letting me know that her word that she hated was the word correct. No idea why, right? No idea why. It's not really the point. But she hates the
Right.
word correct. Man, if I didn't put that word in every single presentation for the rest of the time that she was in high school,
You're
I,
terrible.
I'm terrible. I know. And like she knew I was doing it too. She knew exactly why I was doing it. What was even better, so we would be sitting, right? And I would be sitting at the long tables and I'd be sitting on the end and she would sit like right next to me. And she'd have her pencil sitting like along the lines because I had like old butcher block style tables and it would be on the line. And I would be talking and talking. And in the middle of talking, I'd just reach over and then I would turn her pencil like barely, right? To get it so it wasn't lined up. And she would just be like, and she would fix it. And then I would just keep talking and I would do it again. And she would like through the entire presentation. And like I know like I've talked to her since being in school and whatever. She's like as annoying as that was, like it was still a highlight of high school, for those little things. It's like
Oh yeah.
that's whenever somebody's talking about like making relationships or building the relationship with your students or whatever. It's not about being buddy buddy with them, but it's just doing those little things that they're gonna remember. That I mean, as annoying as it was for her, that was proving to her that somebody was paying attention, whether good or bad. Like I was paying attention. I wasn't giving up. I wasn't, like ignoring her by any means. And it wasn't anything that I was doing that was like so annoying that it was affecting her everyday life or weight and blah blah blah. They
Right.
were hot dog tables. They 100% were hot dog tables. Uh, no, they were like the big like this square butcher block shop tables. I had a handful of them out in an old converted auto shop and I just shoved them all together so it was one long table. What I liked about those, at the end of each class, I would get the big floor broom, like the really wide, like 24-inch, 36-inch floor broom, and I would walk across the table and I would just sweep things up off the table. It was
Okay.
great
That
because
would
I
be
was in there
great.
one day sweeping the table. I'm walking on them, right? And I can hear all of my students kind of chuckling. And I was like, I mean, you guys have seen me do this before. I don't know why you're laughing. I turn around and one of my assistant principals is standing behind me.
Oh.
That was fun. I mean, he didn't care. He kind of just chuckled at me too. But
Right.
I
But
mean, what
still,
are you
that's
gonna
not the audience you were expecting.
do? Nope. What are you gonna do?
I still could not believe, like, I taught a whole class, and then my admin stood up from the back of the room, and I'm like, whoa, when did you get here? So that was fun.
Yeah, I'm thankfully to a point where admin walking in the room doesn't phase me anymore.
Oh,
But
this was
for the
my first year
longest time, that
teaching.
was oh jeez.
Yeah, my first year teaching.
Well, I try to explain it to the students all the time. It's like it doesn't matter how confident you are in your teaching. It doesn't matter, how well you think you have things done or that you've explained it. When an administrator walks in the room, you get the, oh crap, what am I doing wrong feeling. The same thing you get when you're driving down the interstate. You could be 10 miles under the speed limit and you see a cop, and then your immediate reaction is to want to slow down.
Yeah.
And it's just a weird little phenomenon in that situation. Although I have learned, one of the best things I've learned with having to be observed so often,
Mm-hmm.
if you know it's coming, especially if you can time it in a spot in a time where they are uh, nice. You definitely put a bell on those doors, or like one of those electric chimes or anything that goes off when the door opens. Um,
A cat
but if you,
screaming.
if you know the admin is going to be there and coming on a certain day, make an extra copy of the assignment for them. Make an extra copy of the lesson plan. If you have to put formal lesson plans together, have a copy of that sitting next to you or ready for them. And like, give it to them as a packet. I know that's a little bit extra prep, which kind of sucks, and I get it. But when you show that, like, they'll be so impressed with that. Like, you literally could probably drop an F-bomb and they'd be like, oh, well, that, or not even hear it because they're reading through your thing.
That is a nice idea.
I mean, I always did something like that when I was interviewing. So I'd have my big,
Oh,
thick
yeah.
binder portfolio or whatever, and it would have a copy of my resume and my, cover letters and my certifications and literally just like everything you could think of that looked at my teaching career. And it was huge and thick and like nobody wants to look through. They would thumb through it, but nobody looked at all the little information. So I would always have a leavable version. I took out a bunch of the stuff. Like I hit the highlights of, here's my cover letter, here's my my CV, my my teaching certificate, here's the classes I've taught, my experiences and everything like that. Here's a couple of examples of lesson plans that I've done, references and blah blah. And so instead of being this big thick binder, it was a very thin packet that I could leave, and I always made sure it was printed in color and it was easy to see. But I also knew that I was the only one of the candidates that was going to do that. So
Right.
regardless of whether or not you liked me, you're going to remember. Look at that observation hack. This is you missed it earlier when we were talking about nobody wants to watch an early morning video of a couple of people doing art but talking about education. Like we're gonna we have a very limited audience, target audience.
We don't have a target audience.
Oh well, our target audience
Jesse.
is Jesse,
Jesse.
apparently. Just Jesse. But no, like geeky art teachers that are up at 7:00 on a Saturday morning. That is our target audience. But yeah, I always knew that one. I always knew that regardless of whether I was going to get the job or not, I was going to be remembered. And they could have been like, hey, you remember that guy? That guy was awful. That's fine. You remembered me. We're good.
Yeah. I'm finally glad that you came to watch our show for you. Maybe we should have told you that
It's
you were
only
our
been
audience.
2 months. Jeez.
You needed to be here.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that we haven't really said anything about this, we just showed up and did it, and then complained about nobody watching.
I mean, that feels like us.
Well, what was it, like 2 weeks ago? It was like, I'm going to say something to the group and see if anybody else wants to jump on. And I said something to Axton, and he was like, I'm busy. And I was like, okay. And then I just never did anything else.
I'm like, that's not even the group. That's a person. Facebook won't show you us? Man, Facebook. I do like it because anytime I have a problem with Facebook, I blame my husband.
That's
like,
right.
This is your fault.
When we get off of here, you just need to have him call Mark Zuckerberg and get this fixed.
Like, let's do this.
Right, because your husband works at Facebook, so he obviously has Mark Zuckerberg's personal phone number.
Obviously, doesn't everybody? No. Okay, you know what? This thing does not look anything like it's supposed to. I'm done.
Like done for now, fix it later, or done and be like, nah, it's good enough.
I think I'm just going to do a completely different one.
How many extra
I can't.
canvases do you have?
I have, I don't know, three. I think 3 extra canvases.
Do you know where to
Yes.
buy them if you need to replace?
Uh, First off, I have 200 sitting on my counter here, but he wants me to use his canvases because they are all alike. So he bought them all together so that everybody's got the exact same things. I mean, they're all pretty much alike, but I will respect the person who is commissioning me.
Sure.
Right. But are we a favorite follow? Are you truly following us correctly? I don't know what that means, but
I don't either. Okay, so back up. Why do you have 200 of them right now?
okay, so it is my dream. Have you ever heard of the free little art galleries?
Yeah.
Okay, so the one of my friends, Elizabeth, put up the second one in, I think it's the second one in Nebraska. I'm not even sure. But so she's got an Instagram for it. She's got a whole thing. I absolutely love it, but I want my students to do it. So
Uh,
I am going to write a proposal, and they have a grant, so I can apply for a grant um, to help pay for it. But I would like one at our school, and I would like my students as either an elective or part of like the last art class that they have to take will help curate the the free little art gallery. Like this is my
okay.
dream. Like I would love for this to happen at my school, and because of the nature of my school, I think it could absolutely happen.
No, I think you could easily do something like. I mean, I think that I think I'm trying to think of like would that work here at mine and yeah.
I could see that as like a senior class, or part of a studio activities. Like I could see that as numerous things, but I
Yeah.
actually don't know what classes look like for my high school because we only go through ninth grade right now. Next year we'll go through 10th. So we're always adding. So
Right.
eventually I'll figure out what that looks like. I don't have that problem, Jesse. When I talk to my computer, I don't see ads for stuff. I have everything pretty much locked down.
That's
I see
Facebook
ads that I
taking care of
don't
their own.
want.
It's Facebook taking
That
care of
that is
their own.
absolutely not. That is
It'd
knowing what buttons to turn off.
be like, hey Tony, you work for us. We got you. Got it. Thanks.
Now my phone, Jesse, my phone will absolutely do that because I haven't set that thing up to not curate for me. But man,
I don't know, Heather or Jesse. Do you remember what was it, a couple years ago? Um, no, we were in Grand Island for Grand Comic Con, and we're all hanging out or whatever after the show one night. It was either Friday night or Saturday night. We're all in the hotel, and so I'm not a drinker. I don't really care. But my phone was sitting on the table next to conversations about a certain type of alcohol. And all of a sudden I was getting ads for that alcohol on
hmm
my phone. I've never searched for it. I'm never going to search for it. But then that exact brand showed up on my
hmm
phone. Like, don't tell
was
me
that at
that they're not.
Grand?
That was grand.
I thought that was the one in Kansas. That was Time Eddie. I thought it was Time Eddie.
No, because this is when Ralston and Arden were there too. This was Grand Comic Con number 2.
Oh man,
Before the world went to shit.
your language.
Man, you're lucky that I'm audible. Like I don't know what you
Oh
want from
no,
me.
I hear you. Nope.
My kids are
We just have it
upstairs. They're not
going.
watching this.
No, we also have it going to YouTube. Because of your language, I will make sure that it is not going to
Hey,
small people. Hey, what?
I don't want to remember anything about Wichita. Um,
Oh, I
Actually,
hear
no.
you.
Those are some hilarious stories.
They are great.
Everything except for the show. It was really fun.
Oh, yeah, because that was the show that we got robbed.
Yep.
There
by
are
a
so
little
many
girl. We got
stories though.
robbed by a little girl.
Oh,
Like, and thinking about it, like, I probably would have just given it to her. Like, I didn't care.
I would have.
Oh, I know you like you offer that up way too fast for people. Hey, I really like this, but be like, you could just have it. Oh crap! What just happened here?
Mm-hmm. Just take it. That's fine. It's fine. I don't mind. And I don't mind.
I mean, you kind of do, but not enough to worry about it.
No, I think it really just depends on the person. I mean, I typically don't just give art away. There's only been 2 instances where I've given art away that I'm like, no, I shouldn't have done that. And that was because those kids were taking advantage of me, and then that other one that I just don't want to talk about.
Well, I remember both of them, so I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
So I feel like I wasn't going to have to say this
Uh-oh.
this morning, but I don't know where my mechanical pencils are.
Man, I thought you were
I'm
going to
always
make fun
losing
of something
something.
I was doing.
No. Oh, here we go. Ever since I rearranged my
Also, here,
studio, I just
I got
cannot.
one for you. Here, I'll just push
Oh,
it
yeah,
through to the.
just
Nope, that didn't work. Man, that'd be
you just
really
get to.
funny if you were holding it up so it would look like it was going over.
Oh,
And
like they
like,
do in all those cool
yeah,
TikTok thingies.
like if
Do
I
they
just
still do
if I go
that? I don't know.
like this, and then like you got it set up where it, like, and then just like, see,
Oh, look at that.
and then like I just drop it and be like, all right, there you go, gotcha, figured it out for you.
Oh, we are so lame. I love it.
All right, man, is it almost 9 o'clock? 9 o'clock in the morning.
It is.
We
It's
have
way
been
more
talking.
entertaining with Jesse with our
We feel like we
audience.
have to entertain somebody now. It's actually kind of nice.
We did have that set up really nicely. I'm not gonna lie. That pencil thing was only if mine was green, it would have been like perfect.
I was gonna say that probably looked about as real as like special effects from 1976. So
No, come on, it was great.
I mean, I'm a fan of the original Planet of the Apes movies. I know what bad special effects, non CGI special effects look like.
Those were great.
I love those movies. I don't even care. Like, that it's bad special effects, and you're just like, yep, that's exactly how it happened. When you can look in certain scenes and you can see the actors' mouths beneath all of the prosthetics that they use to make them look like apes.
Oh yeah.
In fact, actually, so I was out one day with the boys, or one of the boys, and we went to a Half Price Books.
Okay.
And I love going in there just because you never know what you're gonna find. And I'm always looking for old Doctor Who novels. Right?
Oh
Just
yeah.
old Target novels. And instead, I found a whole series of Planet of the Apes novels, and each novel had like 3 stories to them or into them. So they were the omnibus series, and so there's
Yeah.
4 of them. And this Half Price Books had 3 of them. They had number 2, 3, and 4. And I was like, well, crap. But they were also like $5 a piece. I was like, I'm gonna get them. Like, and then I'm just gonna look for the other ones. Like, by the time I got home, I was looking it up on Amazon and already had it ordered, and it showed up the next day. Like, I was like, nope, I got to read it. I got to find it. I got to do it. And so as I've been reading through them, and it starts off where one of the movies like kind of left off. Like it starts
Yeah.
off where, and so I'm reading through there and going, and it's like, oh, I recognize this. Yeah, Jesse, I will send you I'll send you the link to them here when we get off here. Yeah, they're actually really good. I really like them. Um, and it's just funny because it's like I know, like I can picture them, and when I picture them, I picture the 1968 versions of everything. I'm not. It's not a new version. Like it's not new pictures running through my head. Like
Oh, sure.
I'm picturing what I see from back there, and then really terrible graphics. But man, I remember watching those as a kid and just thinking they were amazing.
That's how I felt about a lot of the sci-fi. I'm like, this is great. And honestly, I still enjoy really watching some of that because I do think it was well done. It was absolutely not realistic, but I mean, some of the
Sure.
CG that we have isn't realistic. So,
No, but like when you were younger and watching these, like you were able to suspend belief because it was so far fetched of what these things were. Now we've got so much. We've got so much like cool technology that what you're seeing in a lot of these sci-fi shows isn't out of the realm of possibility. You know, when Planet of the Apes came out, it was so far fetched of what could actually be. When Star Wars came out, there was so far out there from what was real and what could be considered real that it was easy to look at it and be like, okay, this is complete science fiction. You know, then you start looking what 20 years ago, 22 years ago with The Matrix,
oh yeah,
and then you're like, I could see that being a reality. I could see that being a thing. Like unlikely, but sure, maybe. I was talking to my mom once about it, and so she grew up and was in high school in the '70s when Star Wars came out, and she said one of her proms one year that was like Star Wars themed, which is amazing to think about. Anyway, um, and they said one of the big things that she liked and that people liked about Star Wars at the time is it was not realistic. It was not anything close to being reality or actual things that could happen. And then now we have a lot of those technologies, or versions,
right.
right? The nuke in the second Planet of the Apes movie, uh, absolutely, that became like what they worshipped. The fact that they went back in time, they got it, because of the explosion of that nuke, they went back in time. And if I don't think I need to do spoiler alert for a movie that came out 50, 60 years ago. uh, no one thought hard about what it was, or what the implications of the idea of the whole thing. Like it was meant to be entertaining, and that was it. It was not meant to make you rethink your entire life or anything. It was just be like, hey, this is an interesting concept, let's go with it. Oh, you want to make a movie? Sweet.
Maybe we should do a lot less thinking.
Well, leave it up to my students. They haven't done a whole lot of thinking this year yet.
Oh,
That's not true. Some of them are. Some of them are thinking. Man, I tell you what, I am not looking forward to seeing the amount of teachers leave the profession this year. I don't know if you're paying
oh,
attention. Like it's going to be so many.
talking to some of my other teacher friends, like, yeah, just the numbers and the profession, not leaving schools, like you said, it's the profession.
Right. Yeah, I stopped watching. Like I was never got into Walking Dead, Jesse, and my wife really was, but I would always sit there if she was watching it, and I would make comments like that, and she'd get mad at me all the time. But yeah, so it's one thing to leave a school, and I get it. Sometimes schools just don't work out. But
Right.
no, you got all these people that are leaving the profession.
Yeah.
I saw what New York Times, somebody did a poll, and they polled 1,000 teachers from across the United States, and out of the 1,000 people, 1,000 teachers, they polled, 75 to 80% said that they had at least considered leaving teaching this year.
Oh yeah.
Like, if that doesn't tell you that the system is broken, I don't know what does. Like you're having these veteran teachers that have been through it, that know what's going on, that are wanting to leave, and which that's gonna be better for the school's bottom line because they'll hire cheaper teachers, but that's not better for your students.
Right.
And yeah, Jesse, like you said, like I haven't taken a day off this year. I don't feel like I can, because it's not only a disservice to my kids, my students, when I'm not there, but there might not be a sub, and that's, I can't do that. I can't leave it up to chance that it's going to get covered. Now I have to take a day off here to go to the gaming festival with you in Lincoln,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm terrified.
Oh man. Well, you can just come late.
No,
I mean, I'll be here the whole time because it's a gaming convention and that's fun.
no, don't get me wrong. I want to take a day off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to say that.
I'm taking a whole week off here, but um, I had to find my own sub, so I found her. She's gonna work for me. It's gonna be great. Though I already feel guilty because I don't ever take days off. But since my Israel trip got canceled,
You were going to go to Israel?
yeah, I was supposed to be in Israel last week.
What the heck?
Mm-hmm. Mm. But hey, that's what a principal's for, right? Step in, step up. If you need a sub, um, I mean that's not ideal, right? Because the principal has other jobs, but
I've seen where there's some areas where off-duty police officers have stepped into sub. Off-duty firefighters have stepped into sub. Like, we get it. We're good here. We're here for you, which is kind of cool.
I know I've done a lot of subbing this year. That like this is the first year I've done any subbing outside of art. So like I'll sub for the other art teacher.
Sure.
Our calendar is weird. We have that part homeschool, part academy. So the other teacher works Tuesday, Thursday, and I work Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But so I'll sub for her days. But this year, even our school, like it's everywhere. Just no subs. It's just really hard. And so there's been days where, teachers have been there and like I don't know what to do. I'm like, go home. I have, 2 hours here. I can cover these classes for you and it'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it increasingly, like, yeah, my wife's job is great in the fact that they're super flexible and let her work from home when she needs to. My youngest stayed home from school earlier this week because he wasn't feeling good, and she was
Yeah.
able to still work from home. And man, that's great. And I really, really hope that my kids will understand that not feeling good isn't just hey, I feel sick. Like, sometimes
Yeah.
kids need a mental health day too. Like, if you come to
Oh,
me and you tell me that I'm feeling good, but I don't know why, like something not feeling good or whatever, like, okay, you probably you need a mental health day. You just need a day away, and you need to think and sit back and kind of just reset yourself. And it's
Yeah.
so important. Like I remember just before the boys went to school, I got into school. There was a couple of times where I took mental health days because I just like I need to spend a day with my kids. I need to be away from my students because they're annoying the crap out of me so much that it's
Oh
gonna make
yeah.
me want to quit teaching. And that was when I was at the school in Kansas where I almost quit teaching.
Oh yep.
Right? Snow days. Like we had 3 virtual days this week, and it was. I get the intent. Don't get me wrong. I really do, and I applaud the effort. But the practice is what needs to be fixed. Like how these virtual days look. But no, I will sacrifice a couple of extra days in June to not have to do virtual snow days.
Yeah, I think that's just a really disservice for everybody because it's harder. It's harder to get in the mindset of learning. So our school, if we have a snow day, school doesn't stop. Like our lesson plans, and that's how it's always been because we do part home and part
Sure.
campus. So when there's a snow day, absolutely we still have school to do, but we only have to do the essential school. So we only have to do like it's math, English, um, I think it's maybe Latin. I don't know. They'll tell us what the essential lessons are that we have to do because they know on a snow day we are going to be less motivated,
Mm-hmm.
less engaged because it's harder when especially those are days that we're supposed to be at school on campus. So
Right.
I appreciate that there's that, especially since like I'm like, wait, what? I wasn't prepared to teach this math. What do I got to do now?
Yeah.
But yeah, those were the mental health days, and now they're just a day that you've got to expend mental health energy trying to figure out how to teach your lesson now online, which is
Well, and
not the
like
same way that you would teach it in person. Oh,
my my district, what and we had this conversation earlier. My district is, we didn't take attendance. The kids are expected to show up and participate, but you can't do any new content. Like this is a wasted day. Like I get it, I really, really do, but
it is a waste if you can't introduce content or work on something, like
but you can't guarantee that all kids have access. Then why are we doing this as
right.
virtually?
Then don't do it at all. That's what I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I keep going back and forth. Like I said, I get it, but also it's hard to get behind it when it's not great in practice. Like and we'll get better. I get that this is realistically like our
And they're
first year.
trying to figure it out still,
Right.
but
Absolutely. And so I'm not gonna fully rail on that by any means. Like I think there's better ways of doing it. I don't know what that better way is. I really don't.
yeah.
I
We're
mean,
right now it seems like you're doing the best you can with what you've got, trying to
right.
figure it out. But man, those snow days, taking those away, like
Yep.
having to shift. I think that's like one of the worst things is having to shift from going to in-campus instruction to digital instruction. Like it's a whole different feel.
I mean, we all learned that in 2020.
Oh yeah.
That was not a fun situation for anybody.
Mm-mm.
All right. I think I'm going to end up just finishing this little guy and then being off of here for the day.
Because you're gonna go to IKEA.
Um, I
Ah.
mean, I would go, but convincing my wife that we need to go,
Oh, come on.
No, that's not going to be hard. It's going to be expensive.
Oh, no, I like that. That's okay. I'll give you
Yeah, for
money.
you.
I'll even give you extra for going
No,
and
you
picking it
won't.
up. You're making that seem like I say that and I actually wouldn't do that, but I totally would do that.
No, I know you would. You're not going to because I won't let you.
Hmm.
Not my fault. I live like 20 minutes from an IKEA and you don't.
Dude, I know. And I really need that bookcase.
I mean,
I
why
don't really
Omaha
need.
doesn't? Why Kansas City has an IKEA, but Omaha doesn't? Like, I don't know.
Oh, we're not as cool.
This is true.
You guys have a bigger airport hub. I mean,
They're making it bigger right now.
I'm just really glad we got our plane tickets before all these fuel prices started. Once again, first world problems. Like, I just think of what is going on in the world and my brain wants to just
Right.
die. And so I try not to think about it. Oh, I'm doing what I can do to help, but man, mental health. We need mental health days. That's what this all comes back to. We need mental health days.
True. Ugh.
I haven't been watching you.
Well, that sounded creepy.
Cleaning off my brushes. Man. Did you find the rest of those from college, Captain?
No. Either they're destroyed or I didn't have what I thought I had.
When I worked at the high school up here, we did it was a grid. It kind of looked like yours, but on one side it was random lines, and then on the top was shapes, and then you combined them as you went along to create a grid for our non-objective art.
Okay.
It was fun. It was a nice activity. Just thinking about that, being creative. I had my printmaking kids have to come up with 20 different thumbnail sketches for their design. And some of them were like, well, can I just do random stuff? I'm like, what does that mean? Like, what would you want to do your random stuff on a stamp or whatever? And they're like, no. Like, then do not do random things. Like, actually try to be
Yeah. I
intentional about
It's
your.
so hard to even get the kids to do like two options, let alone, well, this is what I want to do. Yeah, but it's not good. Like, we, there's a method to the madness that we put you guys
Yeah.
through. It's not. We're not doing this just to be jerks.
Because I'm pretty sure that's what they think. Like, I am the biggest jerk.
Well, especially high schoolers, they're just going to look at you like everything you're doing is simply to make their life hell.
Yes. Oh, Jesse, man. Non-objective song that we sing, and then Kandinsky, but I make them listen to music and scribble. So they scribble what music sounds like. I love it. I don't know if they're actually getting it. Like, I can't
So
be any kind of
you're going
objects.
true Candinsky.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I love it because I'm like, well, what does this music feel like? And I'm like, you can only use lines. We start off with only lines because the moment we add shapes, then they want to make those shapes into something. So we talk about all the different types of lines we can make, and then we use lines to create our music. I love it because they are so successful with it. And then we transfer one of their designs onto paper and do a watercolor wash on top of marker. But it's just in our little chant. It's just great.
Did you say little chant? Like
We do a
CH?
chant. Well,
Like
it's
you chant?
because well, we this little song we sing is not really a song. It's non-objective, has no object. It's just elements. So that's what we say. And so whenever I say non-objective, they'll just go straight into that little chant. So, oh my, I'm gonna miss my little people, guys. I'm gonna miss them. I tried to do a song with my ninth graders, and they just stared at me. I'm like, nah, no, nope, we're not moving on until you all sing with me.
So you didn't move on that day.
We actually did. Luckily for me, some of them were probably wearing masks. I don't know.
All right. I think I'm calling this one done.
Yeah, it looks good.
It looks done.
I like the series that you're creating.
I kind of do too. I don't know how far I'm going to go with it.
Oh, sorry. I was reading what Jesse wrote. No. No, Jesse, we don't.
With rubber masks over, your deformed face.
If I came in, like I would love, they would be like, what are you doing?
Um, so to kind of show you how big of a I know, like this whole thing takes so many different tangents. Jesse, I don't know how big of a Planet of the Apes fan you are. I mean, I'm assuming if you want to read the books, you probably are a pretty big one. In the movies, and starting in the second movie, there was one of the keepers of the bomb, is keepers of the divine bomb. Yeah, because they worship a nuke. 3,000 or 1,000 years, 2,000 years in the future. Uh, the lady who, one of the main ladies, the keepers of the bomb, shows up in all four of the next movies, like the last four movies. So she's even like, she's the keeper of the bomb, and then when they go back in time, she is the scientist at the zoo that the apes get taken to and becomes friends with them. And then when Caesar grows up and becomes the leader of the apes, she's actually in an ape costume, and she is Caesar's wife so she's the wife in the last two. So it's stupid that I know things like this and that I'm entertained by things like this. But so that was the skull that I worked on. I'm not quite done yet. He's getting a little bit more brown than I need, so I need to let it kind of sit, and then I'm going to wash yellow over the top.
Yeah.
And then maybe some white. I do have some white watercolor. I might try to wash over the top of this just to kind of tone it down a little bit. But the other thing that's going to help this is when I bring up the intensity of the rest of the colors.
Yeah.
It'll tone this back down. It'll give it that old look.
Telling you, Jesse, next Saturday. I mean, you could just sit in. You wouldn't have
just
to do
hop
art.
right on. We can send you the link.
We can.
Because that's all she does. She just makes the link and then just sends it to me, and I jump on when I need to. This is true. Andy McDowell is amazing. No, it's Roddy McDowell. It's Roddy McDowell. That's like Andy doesn't sound right. It's Roddy McDowell. I can tell you, when I was a little kid, I actually thought that the guy who played Caesar in the original movies was the same guy who played C-3PO in Star Wars. And I thought that for the longest time. Like, I knew it wasn't right, but my mind still wouldn't let me know that it wasn't. Like, yeah. So now I want to go watch those movies, by the way. I want to spend spring break just watching all of them, except for the 2000 one, because the one with Mark Wahlberg, because that was awful. That was terrible. But I will watch literally all the rest of them, including the newer ones.
I haven't seen the newer ones.
What's sad though is the 2001. Its production quality was terrible. The acting was terrible, but it is the closest to the original storyline that was
Okay.
original book. So it's like true to form, but it's also terrible.
Right.
So, all right,
Right.
I'm gonna get out of here because it is almost 9:30 now.
I know IKEA is open, right?
No, they open at 10.
Okay. You got time. Breakfast.
I mean, my kids aren't even dressed, and I'm not going there by myself.
What? That's the best.
It'd be more time that I'd spend away from my kids on a Saturday.
No, I get
Uh,
you.
So
Hi,
the real
Jesse.
quick before you leave, the Tim Burton, the best part about the Tim Burton 2000 Planet of the Apes movies was the fact that Charlton Heston played an old dying ape. So in the original movies, in Planet of the Apes, the first one, he gets captured, and they don't know he can talk, and he gets put up into a net, and he makes the comment, "Get your hands off me, you damn dirty ape!" And like all the apes go nuts because a human talked and they didn't know they could. In the 2000 version, he plays a dying old ape, like the father of one of the ape leaders or anything like that, and makes a comment about killing all those damn dirty humans, and it's hilarious.
Oh, it's full circle. It came full circle.
It is. All right, I'm out of here. Jesse, thanks for watching. Anybody else who sees this, thanks.
Yes.
No, we're not. Whatever. We'll do this again next Saturday.
We will. That'll be
All right,
great.
we'll talk.
All right.
See you later.
Bye.